Latex Man. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, my friend. I've long been a fan of your Instagram, so it's really exciting for me to be here with you. Um, so let's start with the basics. Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
I think New York's a fantastic city. In terms of the alter ego of Sir Latex Man, what do you do for a living?
Well, I'm a sales associate at 7-Eleven
And how long have you been doing that for?
for 4 years.
Okay, cool. In terms of your personal tastes, what's your favorite movie or TV show?
My favorite TV show is the Flash, the Flash, like the
Hmm.
current that going on, and Supernatural.
Oh, cool. Bit of a science fiction fantasy fan then.
Hmm.
Good man. We like that. Cool. And do you game very much? Are you a gamer?
Yeah,
Okay. And are you a console or PC gamer?
console,
Which console do you have?
the Xbox
Oh, the
One.
Xbox. Are you looking forward to the Series X later this year?
Yeah, later on.
That's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I do see how it is first. Then later on, I'll save up to buy it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm personally more of a PlayStation fan. Please don't hate me. In terms of music, what were the last five songs you played on your playlist?
The last five I listened to was "Blinding Lights" by The Weeknd,
Hmm.
"Without Me" by Halsey, "Hero" by Skillet, "The Beginning" by One OK Rock, and "Breaking Me" by Topic.
And when you're not working and gearing up and taking some amazing Instagram photos, what do you do in your spare time?
Spare time I will be playing games,
Hmm.
reading, catching up on my comic books, and sometimes I will go to movies.
Who's your favorite comic book hero?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Awesome. How do you see yourself on the sexual spectrum? Would you say that you were um, gay, bisexual, pansexual?
I'm heterosexual.
When you discovered latex, what was the exact moment where it hit you? Tell me a little bit more, if you don't mind,
Sure.
um, about what you experienced in your mind when you first sort of discovered latex.
Well, before latex, I got into Sentai,
Hmm.
like like the one-piece bodysuit made of spandex with people wear the covered up head body from head to toe. Got to 10. I used to collect these suits called Sentai suits. I would wear them on campus. I would like the visual to have something soft cover my entire body. Then later on, I got into latex. I the pictures, the videos of people in latex, and I thought to give it a try. So one time I went to New Jersey where the store Latex Nemesis were opening shop at. I met with the store owner and she let me try on some of the hoods he made. And this time I've been slowly getting able to buy latex, like first the hoods, the glove, then the cashew. Then later on the other hoods and latex toe socks.
Wow. Okay. So literally head to toe. What was your immediate emotion when you kind of like first put on a catsuit, for example, or first put on a hood?
Feel excited,
Hmm.
happy because I feel like something that's tight on my body is like I'm like something tight, give my body a hug, a tight hug.
And aside from your latex, do you have any other fetishes, any other things that you enjoy?
I like bonders, but
Hmm.
my favorite bonder is mummification bonders, where we wrap up like a plastic or tape from head to toe, immobilize.
When you connect to other people um, with latex gear, the latex community or the kind of kink community in general, how do you primarily do that? Is that something you do online, or is it something you do kind of going to events or meetings? And if it's online, which kind of platforms do you use?
But first found about the later community like through online first on the website FetLife. 'Cause FetLife, people create accounts, share their kinks and other fetishes. They have like group pages, like those who like latex lovers, where some in New York where they post about topics about how to get to latex and meetups and events.
I mean, being in New York, I can imagine there's like a ton of events that you can go to. Did you find your first event overwhelming, or did you just fit right in and it just went really smoothly?
Let's see. I've I went to my first latex party like years ago called Keep It Shiny. I would it was during the time I was still new to latex. Only piece of latex that I owned were the hoods, so I bought a latex skirt and a latex shirt, and it was it was fun. I got to see people in latex, how they look, and got to try out like a back bed twice.
Mhm.
Great feeling.
Being a black man, do you think that the kink community tends to help or hinder people of color becoming or entering the kink scene?
Yeah, I believe so. 'Cause for a while, I had been turned down by the kink community by the color of my skin because it's open for everyone. Doesn't matter your skin color is, or doesn't matter what your sexuality or your gender is. Like it's open for everyone. That we don't judge people. We that accept them who they are and or accept us for who we are.
That's wonderful. That's really nice to hear. Do you think that there are people of color um, out there waiting to be discovered by the kink community that haven't maybe had the bravery to come forward yet, or do you believe that maybe that that people are out there and it's just a question of finding them?
Maybe feel like they feel like coming out, but maybe they talk about the fetishes to someone they trust, someone who they feel comfortable sharing their secrets with, like who would judge them. Like for me, I thought talking share my kink with my aunt, who I have a close relationship with. But like I could talk to her about anything. She doesn't tell anyone or tell my folks about my things. I feel I feel comfortable telling things, and I'm not ashamed of telling her things. She's not ashamed of me. She's like proud of me. She's happy for me.
Oh, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. That's really nice to hear. I mean, um, in terms of having a family member that understands you and connects with you like that, that's something really special. So obviously you've said that the kink community generally is very welcoming of you, which is fantastic news. Um, have you experienced any kind of sort of direct racism or maybe even some level of unconscious bias when it comes to the kink community?
Uh, so far, no, not haven't experienced that directly to me lately.
N-
'Cause sometimes I'll be prepared. It will be happening. I know everything will going on in the world. Sometimes when people my people like people of color are being attacked by other people, and sometimes I have to be careful pay attention to what's going on around me because sometimes would it happen to me? Like I'll be walking in the street, mind my own business, and someone want to attack me for who I am.
As you say, we're living in a very strange world at the moment, and we're living in unprecedented times in terms of things like the Black Lives Matter movement. So it's just one of
What
those
I'm happy
times.
about, what I'm proud of.
I've got a number of friends at that where I work that are people of color, Asian, black, so on and so forth. Um, and hearing some of their stories recently has been a real eye opener for me. It's been really shocking. Um, I and it I live in a very small city in the UK, and it's just crazy some of the stories you hear, even here, where you think it's a friendly city, it's a nice city, but unfortunately, it's not always the case. Um, but I'm really, really pleased to hear that the King community has welcomed you as they should have done. And thank you. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. As I say, your Instagram is, I love it.
When create like a Instagram account for my fetish alter ego, I never surprised how many likes, how many impact I would make. Like I guess so many I got gets people so many followers. Then I get more followers than I do my vanilla Instagram account.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling only too well. But the impact that you make when you're sharing things through Instagram and that kind of thing, it's super important that you are aware that there are people out here that absolutely love what you do. Where do you get your kind of ideas for your pictures from?
I don't know. They come to me and get ideas from other people I follow on Instagram. I see them doing things, and I thought I'd give it a try.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you sort of take inspiration from other people, or because a lot of your stuff is very kind of every day, if that makes sense. So you're doing things like watching TV or you're reading a magazine. I was wondering if there's like another gearhead or another kink, a member of the kink community that is an inspiration to you and therefore sort of helped you with your pictures, or is it something that you've just sort of like nurtured on your own?
That nurture on my own.
Like you've been very complimentary of the kink community so far, and thank you for that. If you're happy to share, what's kind of your best and your worst experiences of the kink community in general, whether it's online or at an event?
Let's see. I think some of my best community was wearing my Lake gear in public events. Like last year, I went to a fundraiser called for Red Canary Scream. It was like a kinky fundraiser that the people were in different gear, like latex, leather, to like burlesque dancing. They had like dominatrix. We could have like a double dom session, and it was fun. I got to wear latex, and they had a photo booth, and it was fun. People like seeing me in my gear.
Hmm.
And recently, last month, I went to participate in a public New York City fetish march. First time I did something like that in latex. Like I wore my casual, wore my hood. Like I just hood in between the march, and it was fun. Like I would worry if I would get stopped by the cops, but look, that we didn't get stopped by the cops. Thank goodness. 'Cause it was a sanctioned walk, so we were free to do what we want as long as we were following like COVID-19 guidelines.
When I first did my first gear walk, which was part of Gear Blast UK, a couple of Gear Blast EU a couple of years ago, um, it was an exhilarating thing to walk through like a town centre, head to toe in my bike gear, with my helmet on, with my gloves on, with my boots on. Um, how did how did you feel walking around those streets, going from somewhere as public as Central Park? Um, did you feel excited, nervous? How did you feel internally?
I felt both, like nervous and excited. I would, but if anyone I know will recognize me, but I wasn't alone. I was with other people in latex, and it was fun. I had people helping guiding me, and I remember it was one funny moment when I would wear my Michael B. Wobble hood from Cake Engineering for the march. I heard one of the bystanders talking about me, wondering how I could breathe with the hood on, and the thing she said something about my butt, like it, that was an compliment. Someone talking about my butt.
As you started off in the King community when you were at college, if you could go back in time now, back to when you were at college, is there any advice that you would give yourself starting out in the King community?
Hmm. Take it easy, but take it easy one step at a time.
Hmm.
Always be on guard. Like be careful with kind of people you meet online from that life. Like meet them in a public place you're familiar with and you feel comfortable with, and see how that goes. And feel free to talk to anyone you want to, like a friend or a family member. Hope they don't judge you, and then be calm and don't be ashamed of who you are.
I think that's wonderful advice. I genuinely do. In terms of events, obviously, in the years that you've been in the King community, um, you've been to presumably a lot of different events or meets. Do you have a particular one that sticks in your mind?
The particular one in my mind so far was I would say the Feathers March. Like we had this year because it was the first time I got finally to be out, be with people. Because ever since everyone the whole world were in quarantine and most events were canceled. I know we plan on having them doing the march again on Halloween Day. That'd be good. I know they canceled the New York City parade, but we have our own march, Halloween march. So
It's this is one of those times when I really wish COVID wasn't happening because that's the kind of stuff I'd love to go and see. Do you have like a particular person on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that that you'd really like to just sit down and have a coffee and a chat with?
yeah, I have a couple. The Pretty Filthy on Instagram and OnlyFans.
Mhm.
Miss Miss Sintress, like MSSINTRESS, like mistress, but you replace the first letters of mistress with sin. There's Miss Podology, see like the Queen of Latex, like see to look at a latex store, feather store in Canada.
Mhm.
So I would like to meet him one day,
Mhm.
and I would like to meet Jack Hellwing. He also from New York right now. He in Europe right now.
Okay, now the big question that I tend to ask everybody is that you're sitting there. Let's say you're at one of your, let's say that you're going through the Halloween march, and then suddenly a whole news crew from different channels around the world runs up to you. They've all got their cameras at you, they've all got their microphone pointed at you, and they ask you to send out a message to the gear community around the world. What would your message be?
Um, I would say that everyone like be happy to who you are. Don't let anyone or anything try to bring you down. And you feel like what you're doing is right, just do it.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to talk to me today. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you again for having me.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.